In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different tips how to tie your boots. They're going to do 2 things for you. Number 1, they're going to make them more comfortable and relieve pressure on those sensitive spots of your foot. And number 2, they're going to make them so they never come off while you're hiking and or working. I'm Will, and welcome to Will Survive. Tip number 1. As you can see, the difference between these two, how to relieve the pressure, is very simple. We just skip lacing that area. So if the area is the toe box that's too tight and causing pressure, just don't put the strings, your laces, through that first 1 or 2 sets of holes. If the pressure is too much and causing pain on your instep, like it is for me, again, like you see here, I could just bypass that and then start crisscrossing after the fact. And the same thing, if the pressure is right at the bend of your ankle, that's where it's hurting on you, then do the same thing here. Wherever it meets your ankles, just go straight bypass that and then crisscross after the fact. Tip number 2, when we're lacing our boots, to make sure they don't loosen while we're hiking or working, the secret here is to just do things twice. But before I put them in the hooks, I'm going to cinch it down and I'm going to tie it. But I'm going to wrap this around twice. That's the secret. If you wrap it around twice, it binds on itself and it won't come loose. So wrap it around twice, cinch it down. Then put it through your first set of hooks, and then you can do the same thing. Wrap it around twice, cinch it down. And then if you have more hooks, do the same thing. Hook it around the other one, wrap it around twice, cinch it down. Tip number 3, once everything's all cinched up and we're ready to tie our bows, we basically do the same thing with the bows as we want to wrap it twice. So there's 2 ways that we usually do this. Some people make 1 bow and then go around the thumb and poke it through. So the only difference here is once I grab this, I'm just going to want to wrap that through the same hole 1 more time. So that's wrapped around twice, and then as per usual, you would normally do is pull them both through just so the tag ends aren't dragging on the ground, and then cinch it down. Now here's another important part. When you tie it this way, you're going to have 1 string that comes out the top and wants to go down the front. If you leave this in the front, you won't be able to just pull the lace and undo the whole thing easily in one go. So you need to take that and lift it to the top. Or basically what I do is I put it behind the bow. Instead of in front, I want it around the back. That way it doesn't interfere with you undoing your shoes. And then you tie the bows together just 1 time. That's the only time where you want to only wrap it around once. If you wrap that around twice, it won't allow you to just pick one of these things and undo the whole thing with 1 go, just like that. Now the second way some people do their shoes is they make 2 bunny ears and they tie those together. So that's fine if that's the way you do it. We just do that twice, just like everything else. We take the bunny ears, we wrap it once, we wrap it twice, we cinch it down, and then we pull it through so it's not dragging on the ground. And then again, we have this one that wants to be in front. Move that to the back. You can just put it up on your shin. I just like to put it on the back of the bow so that I know it's not going to interfere with the release. And then take the bunny ears and tie them together 1 more time. All that together will make sure that your boots don't come unloose every 2 or 3 miles that you're hiking or trekking through the wilderness or while you're working. And when I'm done with my boots, I like to put the laces in between the tongue and the ankle part. Put them down in there and then feed them down in there. That way I don't have loose strings getting all over the place, getting tangled, getting sopped with water or mud while you're sleeping or what have you. Now another thing you can do when you're camping to keep critters out of here is put your socks on top of the hole. That way critters won't get in there. That way when you wake up in the morning, you know that there's nothing in your boot that's gonna bite you or sting you. 1 more bonus tip here. If you are stealth camping or homeless camping in an area where there's a lot of people around you, you're worried about someone stealing your stuff, here's what you can do about that. You take your shoelaces, right? You put your shoes next to each other. We want to take the 2 laces closest to each other and we want to tie those together. Do that however you want. Doesn't really matter how you tie it. We'll just do basically a square knot, I think, so it's not binding on each other, so it's easier to get out, right? So you tie those together. You tie the 3rd lace onto your backpack and then your final end onto your wrist or your ankle. I like the wrist, so that if something is going, I can grab with both hands and that thing, and I can yank them off balance, and then, strike, do whatever you got to do to stop the attack. Make him think twice before trying to steal your stuff. So that's a great tip to make sure your stuff isn't getting stolen if you're in an area or you're camping in a situation where you think that might happen to you. So again, tie the two laces that are close to you, tie those together. Tie the third lace to your backpack and the fourth tag end or lace around your wrist while you're sleeping, so that if somebody tries to take your stuff, it's going to lift your arm out of your sleeping bag along with your shoes and your pack, and that's going to wake you up so that you can deal with the situation. So if we follow these 3 tips, it'll make sure that the boots will be more comfortable for you in the long run, whichever area, whether it's the toe box, the instep, or the ankle, to relieve that pressure and to make sure that the boots will not come untied while you're working and or hiking. Thanks for joining me. I'm Will. This is Will Survive. Have a good one. Be safe, be prepared, and later on.
We fight for our survival.